In the wake of the Supreme Court's decision in the California Proposition 12 case, legislation has been introduced in both the U.S. House and Senate. Roger McEowen with the Washburn University School of Law joins us now for a further look. Thanks so much for joining us, Roger. Now, before we dig into the bill, please let's start with a quick recap on Prop 12 and when we are going to see it actually implemented.
Yeah, good to be with you, Christina. That's a good question. Back in May, the Supreme Court upheld Proposition 12 because they said the Constitution doesn't restrict the type of pork products that California can sell inside the state of California. It wasn't really, in my view, it wasn't really couched properly. They didn't put, the pork producers didn't put directly before the Supreme Court the issue of California restricting the manner in which pork production occurs in other states. And it was kind of framed as wanting the Constitution to say a couple of things that the court said it doesn't say. And one of those was, it restricts what pork products California can sell, and the court wasn't going to go there. So the compliance deadline on this, fortunately for the industry and hog producers, we got a stay of about 6 months on this. And so compliance deadline is December 31 of this year, and it's going to go into effect January 1. And that'll help with some supply chain issues.
Okay, well, we have to wait and see what's going to happen as well. A lot can happen before we hit January 1st. Bring us up to speed on the EATS Act, the Ending Agricultural Trade Suppression Act. What would it do?
Yeah, don't you love those acronyms that Congress comes up with? What it does is it attempts to limit the power of states to establish their own standards for agricultural products. And the primary objective of the law is to prevent states from enforcing regulations on animal products that are produced outside their borders and then imported for sale within the state. So it's the current version of a bill that was introduced a number of years ago by Congressman Steve King out of Iowa. And the King legislation, as well as the EATS Act, they're both designed to prioritize economic incentives for the production of agricultural products and avoid states legislating their morals, so to speak, on other states and let consumers decide the ag products that they want to buy if we assume that the products are all appropriately labeled.
Capitalism at its finest right there. Now, could this be included in the next farm bill? I think we could have a long way to go, possibly even a year before the next farm bill is signed.
Yeah, I'm not optimistic we'll see a farm bill this year. There's just too much on the table. So I think we get late in the year and they'll just simply reauthorize the current farm bill. But yeah, it could be included in the next farm bill. But you have to remember that Congressman King's amendment, which would have done the same thing, didn't make the cut the last time around. And so I'm not optimistic that this would occur. It is political, and there are interests on both sides of the aisle that are really, frankly, not opposed to what California did.
Wow. What do you see as the next steps? Do you expect any major hurdles going forward?
Well, frankly, I don't expect much to happen. I think they'll continue to talk about this and there'll be news reports about it. But in the end, will anything happen? I'm not optimistic that it will. I don't think there's much of a legislative solution here in this instance. If the EATS Act would get in the Farm Bill, then what would happen would be that a lawsuit would ensue challenging the constitutionality of that. And then we go through the legal process again. Which
could take tremendous amounts of time. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. You bring such a great deal of insight to us, and we really appreciate you. Roger McEowen with the Washburn University School of Law. Thank you for joining us.